Hey there. So with so many tier lists and reviews going around, I recently beat every Night Lord with every character solo and managed to do it in a row and without losing a single expedition. Now, I firmly believe every character is not only viable but genuinely good, with their own neat things that make them special. So I wanted to share that experience with people so that they enjoy these characters as much as I have. That being said, we need to address the elephant in the room. The only way to modify your character in this game is via the relic system. That means that, excluding some good, guaranteed relics, a lot of your optimization and player expression can come down to RNG rolls. Some people may get bummed out by that, but hopefully I can prove here that you don't need that much to make a character work, and that your routing, skill, and planning makes a bigger difference on the outcome of a match than the optimal relic. If you're interested in 100% guaranteed relics and their best setups, Ouroboros has made a video on that, updated to patch 1.01. I'll leave a link to it in the description. And so for each character, I'm playing a full match with commentary to show you my thought process while also showing you my relic setups and why I think they're the best. Hope you enjoy. So we're gonna select all of them and then just pick commence and we'll see what we get. Really doesn't matter what you get for Wylder because he's just such a fantastic character. Okay, so we got Augur, there you go, and we also got mountaintops. So the important thing here is always to check the churches. We have a 7 flask game. Not ideal, but well, it is what it is. It's better than a 6 flask game, and I've gotten that before. So always clear the first camp out. Nothing crazy. You can be a lot better with the grapple. There's something about the lock-on that is definitely really annoying. Continuous FP or HP is not that useful. Always focus on chests if you can, and we'll take this. We're not going to do fire. Always focus on these ones. Guarding up really is not going to get used, but it's something at least. And this is just already showing you the usefulness of the double grapple there. We're gonna go after this golem. It's gonna be pretty simple. Another one I didn't talk about is that's very useful, I think. We have a whip with lightning. That is not conducive to a good match, I think. We really don't have any lightning options, so this is gonna be probably worst case scenario. We're gonna have to buy that whip. These are the things you have to think about, right? The boss weakness and then your options to get them. Now, even if you don't have many options, all right, we're just dying, I guess. Let me legitimately pick that up because I don't know if I'm gonna need it in day 3. But always keep that in mind. Always think about what are your options to get weapons. Usually day 2 is reserved to just killing field bosses because you need all the weapons that you can. Surprised we didn't stun there. Or you should stun here. Oh, there you go. Last I played Wylder, I had a different relic. I think it was stance break on garbage. Okay. Stance break on... We do have a city, I guess. Get out of the way before they chase you in, and we just run. So, where was I? Yeah, the boss weakness. It's just as important. We would have hit this Evergaol if we had an Evergaol key, obviously for our thing, but we did not get an Evergaol key, sadly, so it is what it is. We can see that that's a wolf over there. We're not going to engage with a wolf. There's a few bosses that are technically super easy to deal with, but are in practice just not worth it. You're going to find a lot of knights and things that block and things that dodge in that list. And obviously wolf is one of them. So we eat those boluses. You're going to eat them by holding Y and up. And we're going to keep moving. So right now we're headed into the cave here to get a purple. Now I still don't know if I'm going to get... drop this. I don't know if we're going to get a weapon or not. So the purple is really anyone's game. We don't know if we're gonna need it for the whip or what. I should be two-handing since I don't have the... Oh, he's in the wall. Very good. Worst case scenario, essentially, the whip gets the purple, right? That's what I'm thinking about. And you'll notice, up until now, even though I counted it as one of the more important relics to get, we haven't used the rally relic. So there's gonna be a lot of cases like that where you actually don't use or end up using the rally relic. So don't feel bad if you don't get one, like legitimately. HP on attack is pretty nice on a shield. Sorceries, damage negation at full HP is better than critical. And then you also want to be looking for a blue maybe. So that is in worst case scenario, we upgrade our weapon here. Or if we get a gray weapon with lightning, we can upgrade it. Always try to keep these two here and then have 1 or 2 slots free for Stonesword Keys. So as with anything, like, there are different options and paths you can take. I always like to focus on day 1 churches and anything that's a what we call a place of interest or POI. Like these caps, for example. This fortress is probably going to be high on my list, and this church as well, even though it's on the outside. And the reason for that is just Stonesword Keys, because obviously that gives us a damage boost. So the nice thing about these as well is always try to check for gold. We got a gray there, but a gold pickled foulfoot is a good idea, as always. So that is a tower. That is a Redmane Knight castle. That means 3 full Redmane Knights to fight. That is a terrible choice and a terrible use of our time. So we ignore those. There's going to be some with this fire. Also, we don't need fire, right? So it gets bumped down in the priority list. And these are the things, if you're just going to watch the Wylder guide, that's totally fine. I'm going to keep repeating these if you're going to watch multiple, because these are things that are going to help you in, or like strats, I guess, or things to consider that are important to think about for basically any character. It really doesn't matter. Always think about these things. So we got 1 Stonesword Key, that's pretty good, and then we're gonna drop down here and parry the fuck out of this knight. Because this knight, as well, is honestly a dickhead if you are any kind of ranged melee character, because he just likes to do that. See what we fuck up. We do heal a little bit back. Teleports. Oh. We went the wrong way. Parry. Shield. Alright, a little bit sloppy there. He didn't give me a single attack to parry. And then we got immediately upgrade. So that's pretty nice. Obviously not lightning, but it's a weapon. We haven't had a weapon yet. Always check whatever. These are the spots where field bosses spawn, like here. Very important to check. So we checked that one. It's a day 1 boss, and you can just tell by the practice, I guess, experience. You can just tell what is a day 1 boss and what isn't. And the Royal Revenant is a day 1 boss, so we're not interested in that. We just want to know exactly where the day 2 bosses are, so we can plan our route for day 2 in day 1. It's all about planning and looking ahead. So here I'm just gonna let this fat ball rip. Well, not that one, but That worked out. A little bit violent, and then we get a bleed weapon. So we immediately swap. Bleed weapons are just better. Nothing personal. And we jump up here. It's gonna have lower damage, but the bleed is going to pull through. And if I had more space, honestly, we can just check out what we're doing. We should have this here. Guarding ability is kind of shit. We're not gonna use this shield for blocking, honestly. Yeah, let's hit this while we're already here. And then we have two-handing and an empty slot. So we do have one more slot for whatever we might want. And thankfully, we didn't have to, because of my little silly goofer scenario there, we didn't need to. This guy you can also parry, by the way. I'm just gonna ulti here. I don't want him to waste too much of our time. So looking up, we want that shield. Well, we want that church. And we also want the upgrade material here. 10,000 runes, I guess, because it's been a very slow start. Obviously, knowledge is power or whatever. I do want to throw away maybe the blue. But we're going to hit this. Even though this is farther away, by the way, we're going to hit this pumpkin head because he's just easier to kill. He does this thing where he just stands for a while. And that's going to let you just do that to him. And he's just stunned here. Yeah, he bleeds instantly, by the way, so practically speaking. So we're gonna head out the front here. Obviously, we're gonna pick up this. Honestly. Okay. So we have at least a blue, right? And this is worst case scenario. I don't get any lightning. So always focus on the boss weakness, right? That is it's the kryptonite, bro. I'll just think about it. Think about it like that. It's kryptonite, right? You will never want to... If you're Lex Luthor and you're bald, first of all, I'm sorry for you. And then second of all, always take a little bit of kryptonite when you leave the house. It's just that simple. You do not want to be caught out without the boss weakness, man, honestly. So this is a little bit finicky. But usually you are faster than the ring, so we're not going to have too much trouble. What I'm going to have trouble with is continuing with this run without any lightning. Now, there are some Night Lords where you don't really care about the lightning, and all it does is kind of slow down the fight. Maris, aka Augur, is definitely not one of them, because her sleep is a death wish, and you're gonna find that even though it is avoidable, there are some areas where you can avoid the sleep bomb. It's just almost never worth it. But we do have a thingy here. Where is it? A township or whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna upgrade this to purple. Get us a little bit more damage. And since we're gonna be here, we're gonna eye what's over here. It's usually a field boss as well, always spawns there. And we're going to check if it's a day 1 or a day 2. Really wouldn't matter in most cases because it's right next to Evergaol, and we're obviously gonna hit that. So with that being done though, we run as far west as we can, take the chicken all the way to the township and just start, I guess, working on the mountaintops. Now, I'm not a big fan of mountaintops because you usually don't need it. The only thing you're gonna get there is like frost resistant stuff. So all in all, it's not really the most useful shifting earth event. So, you know, you just want to avoid it and deal with things that... Oh, here's a great example of always keeping the parry shield. Okay, so he's aggroed on me. So I know some people in real life that still don't know to this day that you can parry these guys. So let's keep that in mind. Oh, way too early. Way too early. That jumping one is definitely the easiest to parry. There you go. So yeah, these guys super easy. This means Smelter Demon BTW. The pre-fights never change. So you'll always know. This is one of the worst matchups for us actually, because we just deal fire damage and guess what he's made of, dude. So get the buff, get the repose. You can always do that. Sometimes you're not gonna get the follow-up, but it works either way. Alright, and so this is just straight fundamentals. No gimmicks on this fight. Just keep an eye on your... Oh, that input my roll after I was done, by the way. The input buffer in this game is dangerous. Let's put it that way. We need to two-hand, I always forget. We get damage buff. We're not gonna block anyway. Never be scared to like stagger your pressure. If you're not comfortable with a boss moveset, stagger your pressure. Don't go for like combos or chain attacks. Just do a couple of R1s. And that way you can just kind of bait him, goad him into like doing something, just standing still. Not interested, run away. That's a big AoE. Drop it back in. Now he's gonna start taking me a lot. So thankfully we got the stun. Chug. And that is gonna get rid of his big oh. Here's where the rune is worth it. Is what I would say. Chug again. See that rune is not, sorry, not the rune. Keep thinking it's a rune. That relic is not that good, by the way, guys. So every single Souls YouTuber that tells you that you need the Bloodborne relic, don't pay too much attention to them. Focus on how you play, and then see if you can actually do work with it. Because there is a good chance that it might not be worth it. We're gonna get whatever we get. Hopefully a lightning weapon. So of course we don't get anything. We're going to get this. And we are actually gonna run. We're gonna run away. So aiming for that. I was gonna do this here, but this puts us even farther away from the township, and we legitimately need the township at this point. So the faster we get there, the better. We are gonna hit this thing that we needed. We're not gonna do, I don't think we're gonna have time to do the castle though, so it's just one of those things, I'm afraid. We do get a formidable enemy over there. Unless, what is that? Sometimes you can peep what's up there. Wasn't the case here. Okay, let's do the castle actually. So level 7 castle is a bad choice. Mostly because well, you're level 7, but hopefully with bleed, if it's something that bleeds up top and it's something that we can cheese, we can definitely get going. The thing that I'm scared about is that this ring closes very aggressively towards the north because of the shifting earth, and that is going to mean that we just don't have enough time in the castle to do it later in the day. So it's a tree spirit, so that ought to be pretty decent, pretty fun. And we get Crucible Knights. So Crucible Knight is not the best because you're gonna get a Crucible Knight in the sewers after you're done with the basement boss, and he is a pain in the dick to actually deal with. But you know, we do have a purple weapon, so we'll see what we can do. So as it lands, that's when you do it, and then you jump at him. So we're doing yellow damage. That's usually a... Oh, okay. If you ever wonder if you're the right level for something, doing yellow damage on R1s is a good indicator for if you're the right level or not. Grapple back in. That's the beauty of the grapple, as we just talked about. R1, R1. Temple stuff, he's gonna roar, run away, watch for the pillars. Okay, he went for the spin. And we have ultimate. Nice. So next roar, I'm probably gonna interrupt with the ult. Okay, he's gonna dash and grab. When he hits, with his head lands on the ground is basically when he dodge, by the way. That's the timing. Again. Oh. Okay, so we are gonna die there. A little bit earlier. Let's sometimes it is finicky, depending on where he lands, right? Depending on the arena. But gonna be a lot of souls once we kill him, and he's on death's door, so this is one of the least question marks. What is that awful sound? It's like someone's moaning. It's this guy, I guess. There you go. As we just said, right? So, whoop. We got all that. I think the township is in. And we get Ordovis. Really good. Not lightning though. And I guess lightning, if you really want to be careful with your weapon choices, lightning is a blind spot for the great swords. It doesn't mean that Wylder has issues. You usually do get ruins with lightning. Hopefully this is Elmer. Okay. Another great option actually for us. We'll see if we kill him in time. Yeah, so as you can see, it's difficult to get the ring in with the mountaintops. So always keep that in mind. And as you can see at this point, we only got one because of the mountaintops. We only got one Evergaol, but always keep in mind that we didn't get a Stonesword Key when we should have at the very start. That would have been 10%. Unless it's multiplicative. It might be multiplicative actually. But we would have had 2 Evergaols. We only got 1 because of bad luck. It's just how it goes. Now, if the idea of not having the necessary weakness scares you or concerns you or puts you off when you don't really like that idea, opa, uncharacteristic whiff there on the parry. I've parried this guy for 4 years at this point. But if it puts you off, there is absolutely no shame in resetting until you get one. Like legitimately, there is no shame. If you're going for a particularly good run, there is no shame in that. Okay, well, definitely not what I was expecting. We're gonna go for FP or HP restoration. Sorry, is not that useful. And here's the guy. So he's gonna gatekeep your ass. You can run up here. You have to be pretty fast. Always hit the levers before you open the chest. pick quickly. We're gonna go for Crimson Tier, and then we skedoodle towards the township and pray at this point. This could have been a Lightning and Spur Rapier, but you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Wasn't. Just that simple. Always avoid Zamors. Anything, usually, unless it's an element that you need, anything that has 3 people, quote unquote, to kill is usually not worth it. So always keep that in mind. So Baddage Knights are usually not worth it. There are exceptions though, like the Aflamed Chariots, just because you one-shot them, so it doesn't matter if there's 3. But usually those things, it's not a matter of difficulty why you avoid them, it's a matter of time. You just don't want to waste time. We've wasted enough time here to where it feels a little bit bad. So we're literally just looking for the keyword, by the way, and we found absolutely nothing with the keyword. So yeah, it is looking mighty terrible right now. I won't lie. My people, it is looking horrible. So with that out of the way, we're gonna be looking for a ranged weapon of some kind, and so for Flip of the Red Mane, Sword Dance, Flame Grant Me. Flip of the Red Manes might be worth it, but at that point we can do Ordovis's Vortex. The jellyfish are definitely not an issue here. The issue is gonna be the bomb. We just don't have anything to hit the bomb with. At this point, it is Flaming Strike is also a very good idea, actually. So this is looking like one of the worst Augur fights actually known to Matter Beast. The streets are calling it the worst RNG possible, which is great actually, because even if we die here, it'll show you the absolute worst. So let's put it that way. And our trusty Lightning Grease, I think, is going to see some combat in day 3. We're gonna drop the Stonesword Key because we don't need that anymore. And we're actually gonna start doing the, let's call it objective. Not necessarily an objective. Maybe this guy has some lightning here that can help us. Oh, interrupted me. Get him, bro. Nah, if you don't mind, it is my kill though. You will always have to kill this guy, by the way. Let's get that off so we don't accidentally use our 1 lifeline. There you go. So we get a butchering knife and we get a barrier of gold. These are both terrible. We're gonna go for the anti. Then we have our marvelous friend here who's gonna drop us a lightning weapon. Is what I would say. He impressive. He tried to do the mountaintops day 1. It's not something I would recommend. He definitely didn't have anything on him, so that is definitely a day 1 moment. Now we're going for Onze here just because like there's nothing else to do, I'll be honest. And the these things are the trolls. You usually don't need trolls for Borealis, so you'll be fine in that regard. We also have a corpse here. It looks like a Hawkeye. Or it's an executioner. He tried to do his, that's very cute. He tried to do his remembrance alone, clearly. Onze can't waste your time. You can also just ignore him. We're gonna ignore him, considering we are a little bit tight for time. And we're gonna see if we could get maybe Borealis done without all of this. I've never fought Borealis solo with this setup, so it's gonna be interesting. But rains do be gathering, so that is going to be an abort mission immediately, and we'll see if we can get these trolls there. So there is literally only 1 more slot for us to get like a good raged weapon. We can do, by the way, you can always do some shenanigans in the zone. I wouldn't recommend it, but it is possible. And the reason why I wouldn't recommend it, it's because there is... I like how she just plops down from like the ceiling or something, I guess. So let's see what we can get out before we catch the cold. Yes, we can. They ought to be done with their... Okay. Biggest... The streets are calling it the worst whiff. Don't you know? Oh, great. Fantastic. So, absolutely no need is what I would say. I think that does give us sleep. Yes. So we don't need to deal with the dogs, actually. What we need to deal with is you. Thankfully, trolls, because they are just fleshy, they do bleed very nicely. They're just incredibly tanky. He 360s me to show me that he's not scared. I'm getting dog help. Those are the situations where the relic is actually viable or useful. So here's a great situation where look at how much damage the fire is doing that I otherwise wouldn't get, you know. You need to do your sword attack. Grapple. Easy peasy. Chug. Lightning weapon. Of course not. So we get Hoarfrost stop. And it looks like an absolute wash, gentlemen. Now, like I said, this is positive. It's a positive because it just shows you, it's going to show you how terrible the fight can be. We have things to deal with. The jellyfish, that is the most important thing. Even Gravitas is a great option. We are going to swap over to Ordovis though if this boss doesn't bleed. And then we are just going to use lightning grease. It's just the only thing we have. So we can only survive. It's we're gonna swap off here. We do have like lightning power, so that is a positive. Okay, there you go. Can't parry them, by the way. And after this attack, we drop the shield because we're not gonna need it. So we're gonna do this. Now, I'm pretty sure they just... I'm almost kind of testing right now, because I'm pretty sure they made this guy's immune to everything. When... Oh, buffered roll. That's annoying. Yeah. Looks pretty immune to me, sir. Nice. So with Maris, we essentially only have 2 opportunities to knock her out of her thing. If we take any longer with the fight, she's going to get her bleed AoE off. Run away. I think this is a wall. He hits it. Nice. So you can keep attacking him if you can. During that. You can always sidestep that. It's important to always stay, like always have to dodge the grapples. Don't like outspace them if you... Good God. So a lot of Maris doesn't actually do physical attacks, so we're gonna take this actually. And here's the moment of truth. Do we actually try to do something else? Now, you can't run around in the zone, and it's basically free. You're gonna die eventually. But the question is, do you want or do you need something outside the zone? And what we need is the Wending Grace from maybe this merchant is the closest. The problem is that we really don't have any way to get back up. So it would have to be a really long trek, and that puts our souls in jeopardy, so we're not going to do that. If you were close, or there was the 2 spirit springs that take you up normally, it would be perfectly fine, but there isn't, so. So level 13, definitely not ideal. You can see the difference it makes when... I swear I didn't do that on purpose, by the way. Okay, so we only have 1 nuke. Okay, well, it is what it is, I'm afraid. It's just one of those situations. I literally did not mean to do that. Right. So you can run around a little bit and then do that to clear a few of them, and then you notice like, I don't know if that was good enough or not. So then you can start thinking about Gravitas instead, and Gravitas might be the play. So she's summoning the tentacles. Tentacles are not the worst, because you can just do that for a bit, and then you whiff them, and then you have to roll, and then you hit them. But anything that's close to you is very important. We do have ultimates, by the way. That is another way to... Like here, we're actually not going to do the lightning, we're going to do the ultimate. Her head's wide open. Now, we don't have anything for the bomb, unless I want to flaming strike it, which would be very brave. Let's put it that way. We can maybe Gravitas it. And then she's buffing, so we can actually take this opportunity to hit one of these things. Basically, tentacle stun, so when you have the grapple hook active or available, it's always a good idea. Considering we don't have anything else going on, you can always do that. Run for one of the tentacles. Now she's trying to go for babies, jellyfish. So we're gonna see how well. Yep, very good. Gravitas is the king. She should actually stop, I'm not gonna lie. Soon. But you see how much damage just killing the tentacles does to it. Okay, she comes around for another one. So we're just kind of baiting her. Marvelous stun there. And as you can see, like, we haven't needed lightning. We almost have our ultimate again. So when she runs away here, chase, buff lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're gonna have our ultimate for the next one, so absolutely fantastic. And here we could actually once again Oh, never mind. I can't see what she's doing. It's a bomb. We have our ultimate. We don't need to... we can play it a little bit safer than usual. So bomb's gonna go off there. Bomb's gonna go off here. It's always difficult to see where they are. Okay, she's TPing, and she's gonna corkscrew again. She's gonna corkscrew again, so we can kill this guy. Now she runs away. We absolutely have no problem with this. Gets babies again, so Gravitas. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous there. And she's dead. Without lightning. Ladies and gentlemen, without lightning. And it's just that simple. So, hopefully that... I think that did show off basically everything that Wylder is good at, and even how to deal with some weaknesses. We did cut it a little bit close, but we did have the ultimate in case she ran away again. But that's I think a good show of everything that Wylder can do. I think the most important thing here was we couldn't get this, but we would have been doing 5% more damage. And also we got, by the way, this takes out, I think like 2 Evergaols in general, because it takes out this Evergaol and takes one out like up here as well. So we had fewer Evergaols and we were still doing a little bit more damage because we got this one. So it just shows you the importance of that relic. And then in general as well, even if you don't have, like, never give up. If you are not one of those people that want to reset, which I totally get, by the way, if you're one of those people that want to try every single, like, win every single instance or, like, seed, never give up. We were able to do this, and I didn't have to reset. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And any questions, obviously let me know. And have a good one.